I went to Baylor and TCU last night. And to be completely honest with you, I have been on the fire Dave Aranda train, almost an anti-Baylor train, a reconciliation with what my role was as a media member at Baylor. Now I'm transferring into Locked On Big 12 in the last year and understanding how, as an alumni, I can root for Dave Aranda when there are so many people who I've known who have coached in the Baylor program, who have played in the Baylor program, and who have not exactly seen eye to eye with Aranda. It is tough as an alumni to love a place so much, then start to resent pieces of that as they lose, and the coach just can't seem to put things together, doesn't seem like the right fit, isn't quite a leader, isn't going to bowl games, had one good season. Then last night changed everything. Last night felt like 2019 again. Baylor was cool. And if you're not a Baylor fan, I need you to know Baylor hasn't been cool in a little bit. They did that weird stripe out thing a couple weeks ago, every 3 rows, except for every 2 rows. And then this row was going to be all green. Then they released this really weird branding thing with these shirts that were, I was told by a fashion designer, they weren't rendered correctly. So they just say, Baylor, we are Bears. And they're not spaced out at all. Baylor, we are Bears. But then in 48 hours, something clicked. They said, we've had some pretty good atmospheres this year. Let's go blackout. And not only will we go blackout, we're going to play the best music that's currently out, the biggest hits that are out. We're going to put on the video board so many things that can distract opposing players, opposing kickers, get fans excited. We're going to honor the 2013-14 team that so many fans, so many alumni, including myself, never thought would grace that field again. And there they were. And those players built, listen to this, the reason that I wanted Dave Aranda fired. Because I saw what winning was like. It's when I decided to go to Baylor University was because of how good the school was in 13 and 14 in football. Because of how good RG3 was. And if that sets the standard, then Matt Rhule comes in, and my freshman year goes to a Sugar Bowl in his 3rd season in Waco. And then Dave Aranda even says, hey, the standard of Baylor is winning, so much so I'll go to the Sugar Bowl and I'll win it. And then somewhere in here, you lose your way. You start losing. The fan base kind of gives up. You go 3-9. You got recruits. We pay players. What if one offseason is going to change things? And then you really don't start well this season. But now, after a 2-4 beginning, you've rattled off 3 straight. You just beat TCU for the 2nd time in a decade. And I'm telling you, the atmosphere in McLean Stadium, from honoring those teams to the Baylor line, to the student section being packed out the entire game, to Sawyer Robertson in a 2-minute drill, helping put a team on his back that ran the football so well all game, but making plays with his arm, saying, guess what? Baylor is at the standard it was in 2019 again. Wins-wise, they're 5-4. But atmosphere, moxie, competitiveness, and honestly, given what we saw against TCU last night, I would not be surprised whatsoever if Baylor wins out. If Baylor does something it's never done before, goes on the road and wins in Morgantown. For TCU, I have always been, I don't want to say always, due to love, a now ex-girlfriend. We live and learn. I had a TCU kind of a conundrum. It's like, oh, okay, the person I'm in a relationship with goes to TCU, so I have to kind of like them. Otherwise, I'm in the doghouse, and we do silly things for love. And I never really developed that seething hatred for TCU. Now, hosting Locked On Big 12, I cover every team in the Big 12, so I don't have the seething hatred for TCU. But what? If not for the existence of Savion Williams, what is TCU football? What was that last night? It was just, hey, Josh, could you possibly throw it to Savion Williams? Or let's just kind of line up Savion Williams in the backfield and have him throw the ball for a touchdown or run the ball. And if we're gonna throw it, like, let's probably throw it to Savion Williams. 8 receptions, 92 yards. Second leading receiver behind Jack Besh, who was as good as he always is. I mean, that kid's automatic at this point. Hoover to Besh is one of my favorite connections in the Big 12 Conference. Savion Williams, 8 carries, 57 yards. And again, 1 pass, 6 yards, and a touchdown. It just became predictable by the end of the game. And then the defense for TCU, when at one point the Horned Frogs are leading this game in the fourth quarter late, and you're thinking, uh-oh, will the Bears be able to do it? Do they have the offense to combat what TCU is able to do offensively? It is TCU 27, Baylor 20 at one point in this game. And I'm like, I'm even third quarter. Can Sawyer Robertson do it? And the answer is absolutely yes. And part of that's because TCU's defense completely falls apart. After allowing 13 points in the first half, allowed 24 in the second half, and Robertson has his way with the Horned Frogs, further proving he's a top 5 quarterback in the Big 12. No, he's not. Come on, check the stat. Nope. Yeah, those are the stats. He's a top 15 quarterback in QBR in the entire country. Robertson comes from Lubbock, Coronado, walks into Baylor, is the number 2 guy for a while. And then after Blake Shapen leaves, they bring in DeQuan Finn, drop the bag on the whole we pay players thing. He's going to come be the transfer that saves the program. And he's not good. Sawyer Robertson, the most selfless kid I've probably seen play on a Baylor football field, steps out there and says, I care about one thing, and that's winning for my team. And he does it. He's done it 3 weeks in a row. The Texas Tech win. Wow. Like, what an upset. Going on the road to get it done. Then the Oklahoma State game. Blow them out on homecoming. Then TCU comes to town, and they've had your number, and the Horned Frogs are now in a spot at 5-4, 3-3 in conference after Sawyer Robertson picked them apart, after the Baylor defense found a way in the end, after like so many dropped balls, where we're looking at Sonny Dykes going, dude, you were really good in year one. You set the precedent. You did what I've already mentioned about 2013 Baylor, 2014 Baylor. You showed, hey, this school can win at the highest level still. Then you prove, like, not only can they win at the highest level, they can win with me as the head coach. And then you stop doing that. And Baylor at 5-4, albeit I don't think Dave Aranda is completely out of the woods. You now have to look at his staff, at the recruiting classes, at what he's building. And I struggle to use the word building because he's in year 5. Well, we shouldn't still be building things. These are your players. This is your program. You're on your 3rd set of coordinators. But what if it's clicked? What if that's it for Dave Aranda? What if it's clicked and this is it? He's finally got the perfect formula at Baylor to go win. That is very possible. And the kids play hard, man. And you know what? For you dissenters saying, oh, you're rushing the field against a 5-4 team, I speak on behalf of all Baylor fans saying, man, we're tired. Like, we're just tired. Baylor's lost to TCU a ton in this bluebonnet BS in the last decade. Just get it off. Just, if we win, and then we haven't won a ton of games in the last 2 years, let the kids run on the field. Let them go play. I'm fine with it. And I'm fine if you come back tomorrow for the Locked On Big 12 Power Rankings. I would actually really appreciate that. That would make me very happy. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.